all face obstacles in life.
Yeah, some harder than others,
Yes.
right, Don?
Yeah, and for Matt Perkins of Boise, his obstacles began the day he was born. But because he also was born with a competitive spirit, he always found his way to the finish line. As a matter of fact, he's competing in London right now in the 2013 Triathlon World Championships.
It's called PFFD, a rare non-hereditary birth defect that affects the pelvis.
My left leg didn't develop correctly, so I'm missing my hip joint.
Personally, Matt would be the first to tell you, growing up with an abnormality isn't the most ideal childhood.
I think being a teenage boy is probably awkward and hard enough anyway, so I was no smooth operator with the girls.
It didn't take long to impress the girls and the rest of his classmates that he meant business in the area of competitive sports. After a short stint wrestling, Matt turned his sights on the slopes where he excelled. So much so, he made the ski team in college. Then the U.S. disabled ski team came calling.
It was definitely one of those, oh, thank God I don't have to work full-time anymore. So
he competed for a chance to go to the Nagano Paralympics in 1998.
The joke amongst the team was, you know, there's one group that's going to Nagano and one group that's not going to go. And
it was Nagano for Matt. Then after retiring from ski racing in 2002, he turned to triathlons.
And just as a fresh method or a different way of getting myself into better shape, I opted to sign up for one. It was immensely slow. It wasn't particularly fun, I don't think.
So Matt leaned a little more on training harder, especially swimming, whereas you can imagine with no prosthetics, it's a chore. You're so used to it now that you don't even notice it, or are you really doing more with your left side?
No, in fact, I'm pretty right-hand dominant, so if anything, for most of my swimming, I've been more right side, but that's definitely been one of the things to work on, is trying to even that out.
After he gets out of the water, a support team, usually his wife, will make sure his attachments for biking and running are ready for him.
So that's what you typically bolt onto your bicycle shoe, and this has the same attachment as the bike prosthetic does, and so essentially the same method as far as stepping in.
And that takes us to his professional life, where with his father, they have built and grown rehab systems and Coyote Design into very successful orthotics and prosthetic companies. As a matter of fact, in 2012, Coyote Design was awarded the Blue Ribbon by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce as a Dream Big Small Business of the Year.
Essentially, we tackle a problem, so we end up running into some sort of issue with either the fabrication side of orthotics and prosthetics or how the product relates to the patient, and then we'll start coming up with different ideas to solve those issues.
Even though Matt's professional and personal lives overlap, he competes to satisfy his competitive drive. But if anyone else using any one of his products was inspired by his story, I'm sure he'd be just fine with that.
Oh.
And as a para-triathlete, he competes in the Tri-2 category for athletes with severe leg impairments.